Hello, welcome to this English class. Today we're going to be practicing some pronunciation, and I hope this video becomes like something very helpful for all of you. And we're going to be practicing from the book Interchange, Intro, 5th edition, and it's going to be from exercise number 9. Unit number 9, exercise number 4, pronunciation, sentence, stress. So to make everything a little shorter, what we're going to be practicing here is how to make emphasis in some questions and answers. Like for example here, it says, do we need any beans? Now, when we have the noun right here, right, we give a stronger intonation to the noun, which is what we need, all right? Do we need any beans? That's the intonation. And then for the answer, you say yes, right? Of course, because it's a positive, something you need, all right? So you say, yes, we need some beans. Of course, I make emphasis on beans because is what we really need. Now, what is need? Need is a necessity. A necessity of something is a need. So you say, do we need any beans? Of course, if we don't have any beans, we need beans. But if we already have beans, we don't need any beans. So, positive answer, yes, we need some beans, right? Now, pay attention here. We use any for questions, no matter if they're positive or negative. Right? Pay attention here how you say any, right? But for the answers, if the answer is positive, we need some beans. If the answer is negative, like in this case, no, we don't need, you say, any. In this case, rice. Of course, so here we go. Do we need any rice? No, we don't need any rice. Right, so we make emphasis on what we need because those are the nouns we are being specific with. So we say any for questions, any for negative answers, but then we say some for positive answers. So basically, to make the video short, this is what we need to use when we are expressing a need, a necessity, right? A necessity of something. Then the second part of this video is going to be also something very short, and it's not the same exercise. This exercise is on page 61 and is exercise number 7 about the grammar focus. To make this video short, right, because I don't want to go over 10 minutes, I want to go less than 10 minutes. Here we go. Adverbs of frequency. Something you know about the adverbs of frequency is that they have the same idea in other languages, because adverb is a word that we recognize from other languages, for example, the Spanish. Adverb in English, in Spanish, is almost the same. The only difference is the pronunciation, of course, because we have two different languages, right? So adverbs of frequency, adverb in English, in Spanish is the same. So an adverb is a word we use to represent how continuously or how repeatedly we do one activity or one action, all right? So how frequently one thing happened or many things happened, right, is what we call frequency. So here we have 6 different adverbs of frequency, and we're going to go over all of them, right? Number 1 is always. Everybody knows always. The majority of the people that are related with English, they know always, right? And if you like music, probably you will have listened to this word like many times, right? So you say always represents 100% of the times of one activity or I don't know, if for example, let's say you have a hobby, right? What's your hobby? Your hobby is, I don't know, to have a snack every day, right? Because you like eating healthy, let's say. So every time you eat a healthy snack, then you say, for example, if you always eat it, you say, I always eat, and then the rest of the sentence. But of course, we're going to give some examples. So we're going to go over some very short examples to make sure we finish very fast, right? So always, I am going to use here only the adverb of frequency because we're going to use the same example for all of them, right? So let's say, for example, I, which is a subject pronoun, right? Then you write always, let's say here, always, right? I always, what? Go running. I always go running. No, let's say, I always, wait, probably let me change that idea because I want something more general, something that you can use with all of the adverbs, right? Go to the gym, right? I always go to the gym. All right, that's a good example to start with, right? I always go to the gym. When you say I always go to the gym, you say you all the time go to the gym, right? So the idea is subject pronoun, right? Subject pronoun plus the adverb of frequency. You say I always, right, go to the gym, and then the rest of the sentence. Usually, I usually go to the gym. Usually represents, let's say, about 90 to 96% of the times, meaning a very big, like a very big quantity of the times, like very frequently. Or if you use how often, right? Often and frequency, it's basically the same thing, the same idea, but often, right, represents a minor amount of times. So it will be probably between more than a 50%. It can be probably a 60%. These are not exact numbers, but to have an idea like how frequently we use these adverbs, it will be often 60 to probably, I don't know, often 85% of the times, right? We use often. So you say, I often. Now, the pronunciation is important in this case, right? T is mute. So you say, how often, right? How often. Sometimes it's special. If you see this star here, is special. What that means? That means that you can use subject either before the subject or after the subject. So you can use it in whatever position, right? So you can say, for example, I sometimes go to the gym, or you can say sometimes I go to the gym. Is that clear? Is the only exception. Then sometimes represents probably between, sometimes it will be like probably a 10% to 25% of the times, right? And then hardly ever, it's a very small amount of times. So you can say, for example, like 1 or 3% of the times, right? Hardly ever. And then never, which is a 0% of the times. This is very easy to remember, and it uses the same form for all of the subject pronouns, all of them, right? I use subject pronoun I, but you can use all of them. You can say hardly ever, and you can say never, right? So it will be something like, I usually, or I always go to the gym. I usually go to the gym. I often, remember, go to the gym. I sometimes go to the gym, or sometimes I go to the gym, and I hardly ever go to the gym. And lastly, I never go to the gym, like my case. Well, not never, I used to, but not anymore. Long story. But thank you guys for being in this video. If you liked this video, don't forget to share and tell your friends to come and take a look at the other videos. See you around.